Flosstube. My name is Becca, and I am SamBrie Stitches here on Flosstube and Instagram. And this is another special edition of Interview with a Flosstuber. I'm super excited because I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I'm here with Brandy. She is the amazing woman behind Bestitchme. Y'all have heard me talk about it, so pretty obsessed. I know it's been like a year-ish, I think, since she's recorded a Flosstube video, but
yeah,
it's been a while. You've been busy. But I wanted to have everybody meet the person behind, our fabric and silk addiction. I think I've been a fan of her since pretty close to the beginning, I think.
I would say from the beginning.
Yeah, and I'm one of her biggest fans. Huge fan. I'm obsessed with her stuff. So we'll be learning a little bit more about Brandy. Not only is she a dyeing genius, not even kidding, she's also very kind and giving. So if you're part of her Facebook group, and she does Friday Night Fight Night, she does amazing giveaways, if you've made a purchase. And then every so often she sends people just little goodies and surprises in their packages, which is pretty awesome. It's very giving and very supportive. And I'll link everything down below if you all want to go check out the Facebook page and her website and all that kind of stuff. And then one more thing before we jump into getting a little bit more into learning about Brandy and Bestitchme is Brandy has offered one of the summer boxes for a giveaway. So I will be announcing the winner at some point in this interview. I'll be inserting a little video of the winner. So keep an eye out for that. Pretty exciting. So thank you for that. That was very generous. Okay, so we are picking the winner for the summer box donated by Brandy. And we have 84 comments. And let's see who the winner is. Congratulations to Pamela Stitches. All right. Well, before we jump into the questions, I was kind of wondering if you wanted to just talk a little bit about, the history of Bestitchme and how it all started.
Well, Bestitchme it was just a hobby of mine, just dyeing my own fabric. And I had dyed a couple pieces for myself and posted it on social media, and people were interested, and it's so much fun. It's like what I did in my downtime or how I de-stress for my job, because I had a very stressful job, and I was like, oh, going home and dyeing is the way to release all of my my anger and my stress. So that's how it kind of got started. And it just kind of took off, and I love dyeing and I love colors, and I've always had a very creative background. I mean, for as long as I some form of art, whether it be drawing, writing, something, a creative outlet has always just been in my nature. So
that's very cool. Well, you're very creative. The colors and the names you come up with, I know sometimes your kids and your husband kind of help with the names and stuff too, which is really neat. So a whole family affair.
It is. Sometimes it is, especially when I get stuck on one. I'm like, what should I call this? And then they give me their feedback and I don't really like it. I'm like, okay, well, now I'm going down this route. So
and I love how much it's grown too, because I know you had your job and you wanted this to be kind of your full-time thing, and now it is, and it's just awesome to see the whole.
It's amazing. It grew so much. I started out just doing it on Etsy, just as I call it my little side hustle, my extra money or whatever we would do for fun for the family. And in the beginning, even my oldest still, she's been my number one supporter. It is a very family business, just our little family. And she's always been, she'd sit out in the garage with me when we would dye, and she's now with me all the time, most days of the week, trying to find something to help out with. So she's awesome.
This is Yanina.
Hi.
She's my biggest helper, and my oldest, and she's just my amazing daughter. So
that's good. I'm glad that you have help.
Yeah. I don't know how to do it otherwise.
All right. Well, let's jump into the questions. The first one is, why did you start a Flosstube, and were there any particular motivations?
Oh, yes. You? Because I remember watching your very first Flosstube. So I remember when I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I just loved it. I was just as nervous doing it, and I loved watching your first one and just watching you grow. So that's why I started a floss tube. And it didn't last very long. But I do hope to bring it back this September. The whole problem is I've been working on a model stitch and I have nothing to show. So with my very little stitching time that I actually have is invested into that model piece. And so my floss would be very boring. Like, hey, here's some fabrics. That's all I got for you.
I think that would actually be a pretty interesting floss tube, because I would
probably
watch something where you would show like your new colors and your new silk colors and that kind of stuff. So
I have so much. I'm terrible at posting on social media. I'm kind of like, oh my God, I gotta get better. But there's like so much new stuff, and I'm like, I don't think I posted that, or yeah.
Oh geez.
So that would probably be actually a good thing. I should do that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm sure there's many people, myself included, that would watch that because you know, addicted. A little bit.
Yeah.
So this one is a subscriber question, and they were just wondering if you had a blog.
Oh no. No blogs.
You have a website and Instagram and all that other kind of stuff. So
yeah. The website is the best place to where I try to do like updates and stuff. I'm not the best at doing like technology side of things, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that I need to get done. But I've elected my daughter. I was like, come on, you're tech savvy. So is my husband, should be able to help out a little bit. But yeah. So we have some new things we want to get updated on the website, which would be fun. So
that's exciting. I love that. So how did you learn to stitch, and how long have you been stitching?
Oh, I have been stitching for, I should have planned my math question here. Over 25 years. So I started like when I was 13 or 14. My aunt, she cross stitched and did all the crafts and hobbies, and we were visiting her one summer, and she goes, you want one of these cross stitch books? And it was one I featured, I think, in my first or second floss tube, about the endangered species. That was my very first project that I never finished because she took the book back. But I still have like my half unfinished piece, and I have found the book on eBay, and I purchased it like a year ago. But I don't want to finish the piece actually because it has so much memory, and my aunt has since passed. So it's just like, I just like it the way it is, unfinished, just done. And then I might just redo it like complete now, but I just don't want to touch that piece. It just means too much, even unfinished. So,
well, no, I don't blame you, because it has some, and you could just have the pattern with it so that you could be like, this is what I was working on.
This is what it was going to be.
I love things like that, whether they're finished or not, just having the memories when you look at it and you just think about whatever you were doing or who was involved in it. I love that so much.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started out, I remember like all my Christmas breaks. This was like still when I was a kid. So it was like Christmas breaks. I was like, oh, good. I get 2 whole weeks of stitching. And I would literally sit there for 18 hours a day and cross stitch. I had to be like, oh, what are you doing over Christmas break? I'm cross stitching. So
sounds
excited.
Like a dream for many of us anyways.
Yeah, like now I would just be like, oh, vacation and cross stitch. Yes.
Right? Yep. Just a nice, don't bother me. I'm just stitching.
Yeah.
That's my dream right there too.
So there was lots of projects I completed because I was like, oh, it's summer break or Christmas break. Here I go.
Nice. That's awesome. So do you have a favorite project that you've stitched so far?
I don't know if I have a favorite, because I want to say like I think it's my favorite at that time, but my moods will change.
Yeah.
And like my taste will change too. So I'm super into full coverage, like Heaven and Earth designs. Like I love those. But then I also like just little quick goofy things like that I do for my kids, or when my daughter had me go do a custom stitch for her because she's an artist. You can't tell from her room. But so I did like her a custom little cross stitch, and I don't know, honestly, I think that one's my favorite, to think about it. And it was just something so simple.
Yep, because it had meaning and that your daughter asked you to make it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she has it somewhere. I was looking in her room and I don't see it, but I know she saved it.
Cool. That's cool. So what do you enjoy most about stitching?
Oh, it's so relaxing. Like I think like cross stitching has always been like, I guess, somewhat therapeutic for me, because that's kind of why I go to it. It's a de-stressor. I don't have to think about things. don't know. I just love it. I think it takes away anxiety.
Yes.
I just think it's something like when me and my husband watch TV, he's like, are you paying attention to the movie? Absolutely. I can pay attention to the movie and cross stitch because cross stitching just helps me like focus somehow. I don't know, but
yeah,
that's why I love cross stitching.
I get that.
And I've even done some amazing pieces like when me and my husband first got together. So we're both gamers. And I did a piece of Illidan from World of Warcraft. Yeah. Like I can't show it because I kind of just used the picture and imported it, but
yeah,
it was amazing and it was just for him. So
that is awesome. I was thinking actually, because we play Warcraft. I started playing and questing with my husband. He raids and all that, but I don't want it to take away from my stitching. But I was thinking of stitching him something because I stitched my younger daughter. She's Horde, breaks my heart. But I stitched her a Horde pillow, and then her boyfriend wanted one, so I stitched him a matching one. So love it.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So we're gonna get out of Stitchy Talk a little bit and kind of learn a little bit more about you. And this is, what's your favorite genre of book or movie?
Oh, well, sci-fi. I think I'm sci-fi, superheroes. I think that would be my favorite genre. I don't watch many movies, but when I do, it's definitely more on the science fiction, the not real. I guess I stick with TV shows a lot. And music. I think I'm more into music than I am.
Yeah, I think I am too. Yeah.
So
I don't watch as many movies unless my husband wants to watch, one of the military kind of shoot 'em up drama type of things. But so what kind of music do you like then?
Oh gosh, I am all over the place. It's like what day is so my heart has always been like punk rock and metal, and then I go from my moods of like 2000s emo music, and then some days I'll be like, today's Nick Jonas day, so we are from death metal to pop, like just going all over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to be, have different kinds of genres of music. Depends on what mood you're in, and
yeah.
So I'm curious now, since we're talking music, do you play music when you're dyeing, like fabric?
Oh, absolutely.
So do you have like a certain type that you play when you're dyeing, or is it just as fabric?
Oh, it's the mood. So today I'm dyeing and I'm playing Fear Factory. So we'll see. Might be a little bit angrier fabric.
That's what I was wondering, is if like the music goes with like the fabric.
Oh, it does. Like sometimes like there's been days I have died and have been super pissed off about something, and I have angry music, and I'm like, that was the best piece I ever done.
That's like vampire color or something like that.
Yeah, it was like dark. And I remember the day I died, I know in the group, the boss fabric was posted. Like I was just over that. Like I had tried to dye that piece 20 times and it all just worked out, and it was beautiful. And I was like, oh, that was so great.
Oh, that was for Amy, right? Sprinkle Stain. Yeah, that was a gorgeous
Oh
color.
my gosh. And the pictures do not do that one justice. I wish I would have taken pictures before I mailed it out. It was just amazing.
Oh, well, we can have her just take them outside and take a picture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's funny. Okay, yeah, I was curious since you mentioned music, like that makes sense depending on like what mood you're in, that music, and then the colors that come out of it. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Little behind the scenes there.
Yeah, there's always music playing. I used to watch Flosstuber when I was dying, but I want so much, and I'm like with my gloves and dye everywhere, and I'm like trying to write down, oh, I need to get that chart, and I was like, okay, I can't do Flosstuber and dye.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So what fictional place would you most like to go to?
This is the one I thought about. I have so many places I'd want to be. Like, it's really like a fantasy place, but I narrowed it down to one. I think I'd want to go to Rivendell, like from The Hobbit would probably be my number one place.
Nice.
There's many other places that were in my list. Like from the World of Warcraft game, I think that's why I love it so much. It's just the environment and the scenery in that place is like Ashenvale or any of the Night Elf places are gorgeous.
Yep.
So Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to go with Rivendell, magic castles and waterfalls.
Pretty similar, I think, in your case between the two. Yeah, because it's like calming and it's beautiful and
Yeah. I was
yeah.
just thinking, if I could be there and have all of my cross stitch supplies, like that would be like my heaven right there.
And I love the night elf areas. I play night elf, so those are
Yeah.
my favorite areas. Love it.
It's so pretty. Oh my gosh, just the greens and purples.
Yeah.
When I was last time I was there, I was thinking, oh, I got some silk and fabric plans based on this. So a lot of my inspiration comes from like, I guess just places. Like when I see things in the game, like when Shadowlands came out, I was like, oh, those colors. I still have not made the fabric yet, but I was like, I know what I'm doing for that. And just like national parks, like I love nature and the forest. So a lot of stuff comes from, okay, what inspires me today? Like with my Badlands fabric, it was from the national park. Like this is what I see when I'm there. Like, so that's where most of my inspiration comes from, are things in nature or things that resonate with me, besides just the custom request, which I always come up with. I love doing custom orders because they're so fun.
You are amazing at custom colors. I should know, because I'm like, Brandy, I want to stitch this and I want it kind of to look like this, but do whatever. Because I always say I trust your judgment or whatever, and it turns out amazing. So, if you could choose to do anything for a day, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that'd be really hard for me because I feel like I'm living my best life now. But if I could choose to do anything, it'd probably just be to like go throw up a hammock somewhere. Maybe Southwest is like my dream place right now. Just go out to the Southwest, put my feet up and cross stitch there, like looking down through a canyon. Like that might be my perfect day.
Oh, that sounds amazing. Actually,
yeah.
And no interruptions.
No, oh my God, no interruptions. Like, so I'm planning, I guess this is awesome, because I'm planning a Southwest trip for my 40th birthday here in like less than, I think we're on 2 months now. And so that is like the most exciting thing, because there will be no husband, like I love my husband, no husband, no kids. I just might take my oldest.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to take my oldest daughter wants to come. She'll be 17 by then, so it'll be fun.
It's a bonding trip too, you know. And 40 is it should be a big celebration, so that's pretty cool.
I know, that's what I'm like. I want to just do something special. I just like, I never do anything for myself for my birthday, so I was like, I'm going to do a special trip.
That's cool. And I'm going to be like super, super curious and excited to see what fabric colors come out.
Oh, I have been like planning. I have so many fun ones, but I'm going to wait till after I get back to release them, because I've already been like working on some custom things that are super fun.
So we were talking about the fabric colors that you were doing for your trip.
Yeah, I have a lot of good. So the whole trip is the Southwest. I'm going through Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and then taking historic Route 66 home. So I'll see what comes out of it. I'm sure there'll be lots of fun.
That's exciting. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
You should do like a whole Brandy's 40th birthday fabric silk package.
Oh, I should, and I probably will.
Yes, do a package. I think packages, like a patriotic or like a Halloween, kind of like what you do with the boxes, but just do like I would love that.
That would be so much better. I love that idea.
Yeah.
Sometimes the box stuff is very hard to put together and coordinate and to find people. So those are a lot of work. So fabric and silk that'd be my jam right there.
Yeah, I think that'd be great if you just did bundles, but the boxes are amazing.
They're so much fun.
You knock them out of the park. They're great. I love, and it drives me crazy because, they arrive and I'm like, I don't want to open it, because I like to do my unboxings while recording so that, it's all like, we're both seeing it at the same time, basically, or everybody's seeing it at the same time. But it's so awesome. I love them. So that I'm glad that you're doing them. But if they're a lot of work, fabric and silk bundles, I think will sell, just as much. So. Oh yeah,
I'm still good with doing the boxes. My husband kind of asks me every time I do a box. He's like, "Are you sure you want to do this again?" I'm like, "I'm already committed."
Yeah. I don't doubt that it's a lot of work. Yeah. That's crazy, but. We appreciate it. We do.
Yeah, and I love doing it. So I mean, I wouldn't do it if it's something that I didn't have passion for, or else I wouldn't. I think it would take away from the effort. I mean, if I'm not liking doing something, I'm not going to do it because, it's not going to turn out good. And like, that's my biggest drive is I want it to reflect what I enjoy and what everyone's going to love too.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it definitely comes through for sure. So we kind of, I don't know if we alluded to this a little bit, but do you have any other hobbies besides cross stitch?
Oh, I dabble in little things everywhere. I keep myself busy. So other hobbies, gaming, I guess would be my second hobby. I like photography, so a big part of my Southwest trip is to go out there because it's much darker than the city here to do some astrophotography.
Cool.
I love galaxies, so taking the telescope out and gonna go look at the solar system and enjoy seeing what I can see in the deep space with that.
That's cool.
That's about it. And like watching your last what you had posted recently for the quilt, I wanted to do quilting so bad, but I don't know if I will ever have the time for that. Maybe when I retire.
It's very time consuming. We were talking about that before the recording. It's awesome. And I don't know if I'll ever really get into quilting too, but that was kind of my bucket list thing too. So
yeah, I wanted to check that off. Like I see those kits they sell, like where you can be part of like the club and get the squares or something along those lines. I'm like, oh, I should do that. But I don't have the time to commit to that right now. Maybe when the kids are kind of like starting to get out of the house would be a time I could take on some more.
Yeah, and you need a lot of space for it too.
Yeah, and I don't have space.
Yeah, I don't know about me either, but yeah, quilting is a nice bucket list thing, but I don't know how much I'll get into it. But okay, this one I'm excited about. There's a car back. This is, how would your friends describe you?
Oh, this was a hard one. So I had to actually ask. So what I got was amazing. So always hearing compliments is a little bit of a challenge for me, but amazing, loyal, very generous, empathetic, caring, and pretty easygoing, and a little bit quirky. But I think that's about it. But across the board, apparently, I'm a very good cook, and everybody loves my cooking. So I was like, that's not really a trait, but okay. But that was the number one thing said.
Yeah, nice. Those are all spot on, I think. Every one of those. It is hard to take compliments and because you're like, oh, thanks, because I'm the same.
I'm trying to get better. I'm like, thank you. But it's still hard.
Yeah.
Especially I know everyone's always very nice. And I'm like, I've just never been a compliment taker. Yeah. I'm more of just like, let me just give.
Yeah, you do. And that's the thing, is you're very giving. I don't think many people realize that you are very generous.
Yeah. I know I've had several people like close to me say, you really should stop doing that. And I'm like, no, I can't. I truly can't. Like, that's part of what I enjoy the most. You can't take that away from me.
I mean, if you enjoy it and it's not hindering you, because that's the, the big thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure I could speak for many of us who have received, extra little goodies and stuff from you, that it's nice. And it makes us kind of feel appreciated, I guess, in a way, even though we really don't need to feel that way because, we're buying your stuff because we want to buy your stuff. But yeah, so those
surprises are always nice. I know I like getting surprises, so I think that's why I like to share them.
Yep, I get it. So we're gonna back into stitching a little bit, and this is like, how do you prefer to stitch? Do you use a hoop, a Q-snap, a frame?
So for a good 25 years, I used a cheap little wooden hoop until I found Q-snaps, which are amazing. But I recently got some roller frames, which I'm still kind of trying and struggling with. But my go-to is just a Q-snap because it's easier for me just to hold in my hand.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I like the Q-snaps too. I have roller frames, and I don't know if there's a trick to it, but I can't get the fabric as tight as I want it to be on the roller frame. So
yeah, I still haven't mastered that. I watched a dozen YouTube videos of people doing it, and they're fine. But I'm like,
yeah,
it's not time to switch yet.
well, it's personal preference. If you get used
Yeah.
to it, it'll work. But meh. Do you have a preferred fabric that you kind of lean towards when you stitch?
Not really. So forever my go-to until I found this whole other world, which hasn't been that long. It's been like in the last 3 to 4 years that this whole new world has opened up from kits, which I thought were the only thing that ever existed at your local craft store.
Yeah.
Until I got onto social media and was like, oh my God, there's this whole world. And I think it just, a big factor is that there is no cross stitch shops nearby. Like the closest one I have, I think, is in Chicago.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and so 3 hours away. So I have driven there once when I was went to go look for something, but I was like, I think that's the biggest thing. Like I would have never known unless, I didn't run into social media. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that was the biggest influence for why I changed my counts. I really prefer, I think, an even weave right now. I love the 32 count Joplin. I try to stitch on linen. It's not my favorite. It really slows me down, but I do like the way it looks and the way it dyes. I think that's why I keep making a stash of it, because it dyes so nice. But I would go with a even weave or an Ada.
Nice.
I can't give up what I've been doing for like 25 plus years.
Right?
You're kind of stuck on that.
I'm right there with you, because I stitch only on Ada, and then I tried the 32 count Lugana for the first time, and the 1/1 is what I'm doing because I wanted it tiny for a finishing, and it's not so bad. Even when it's not so bad, I won't try linen. But
yeah, linen's hard. Like there are so many times, like especially if I stitch late at night, because that's usually when I get time. So I'm a little bit tired, and I'm like, oh, was that 2 or 3? And I'm like, how close is that be?
Yep.
But no, I really
makes it so easy.
Yeah. So like Ada, I know, like if I'm tired, I'm just like, I'll pull out that Ada project because I know I won't make a mistake.
Yep, easy.
Yeah.
So do you have a favorite place that you've traveled, and did you bring stitching along when you went?
Well, usually, favorite place I ever went to, I think, was Italy, and I did not bring cross stitch supplies because it was international. But if we stay within the United States, I always take something, or I just we'll go pick up a little kit or something to do, because I always have downtime while the kid, I have to watch them go play or have fun.
Yeah.
So cross stitching is usually just what I take. But now, since I've gotten into project bags, I usually can just easily, hey, I'm going to take this bag with me on any adventure. So
yeah, that's the convenience of having all the little accessories, project bags, scissors, and all that in each bag, and you're good.
I know. My husband's like, how much stuff do you need?
I just recently bought at Michael's. They have these 99-cent little plastic pencil cases that kind of have, they clip on the sides, and it's a long, narrow one. And I fit everything into that, and it's the best thing ever. And then it goes inside my project bag, and it's got everything in it. But it's so small. Love it.
That would be awesome. I think I need something like that, because usually I just toss all my goodies in there, or have them in a little plastic bags I got off Amazon, like those clear ones you can just zip. So
no, you should check that out.
Yeah,
they're pretty cool. So what can you not do without for your stitching? Like your favorite go-to must-have?
Dyed fabric. You cannot give me white.
Right?
And I thought about this. So I thought about this question. So I watched all the interviews, and I'm like, really it would be a needle, because I could not stitch without a needle.
Right.
But I would not ever grab a piece of white fabric again and use it, to be honest. So I'm going to have to go with fabric.
Yeah, that actually makes sense. And I don't think anybody has ever answered that way in all the interviews. Because, you do need the basics. You need the needle and, the very basics. But, dyed fabric is a basic, but, the dyed isn't. But, yeah. I'm the same way. Oh, same way.
Yeah. I know my first couple, like when my first pieces I dyed on were like, or stitched on that were dyed were like a light pink and a light purple and a light blue. I remember those projects and I was just like, oh, you could just never go back to the white, because I'm constantly, like, now I'm really good. When I was younger, I didn't always wash my hands, never eat, like all those rules you have when you're stitching. And some of my projects, like, I'll never be able to get them framed. I've washed them 1,000 times, and I just wish I was taught that when I started cross stitching. You always have to keep your hands clean.
Yes.
But, you know, at 13 and 14, you don't think about that. You're like, something fun to do.
Yeah, no. But again, those have memories attached to it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, may never be able to get them framed, but you can look back and be like, man, I wish I would have washed my hands.
I know, but you know what? If anyone has watched any of my floss tubes, they will know that I am not a finisher. I am a starter. So, like, when I do finish a project, it just goes into this beautiful little box of finished projects. Like, I'm terrible. So I will have a few finishes this year. So hopefully I'll get them like fully finished.
Nice. And then record a video.
Yeah. I cannot wait to get the model done. Like, I'm just like, well, I enjoy it, but we'll never do it again.
And it's a model for a pattern that you've made?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. It's different. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Very cool.
Yeah, so I want to get back to the stuff I love doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't love this, but I want to go like, in my free time, I'm in the mood to stitch this today. Like, I can't go work on my Sam and Dean because I get this done.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. That's why I think I've never wanted to model stitch, because, you know, I want to get my stuff done. And yeah, it would be cool to have like your name on a pattern and your picture and meh.
Yeah.
It's
not all the time. I don't really, I guess I just thought, that'd be fun. And the design was something I love. And then I'm like, well, crap.
Well, lesson learned. Get it done. I'm sure it'll look great. And then, you know, you did your model stitching for
right.
Whatever. So how do you decide on what you're going to work on next?
I just go with what my soul says. No. I try to stay off social media because all you guys do is enable. Like, seriously, I need a break. Like, I want this. Like, I cannot stop starting. And so, like, I have seriously so many things. Like, ooh, look at all the stuff I have kitted up. I was doing like the wheel spin thing, but really I just go by my mood. Like, I really am trying to focus this year just on a few projects. So, like, the beginning of the year, I had like 6 things I wanted to work on. So that was my goal, but I just kind of go by with whatever I feel. Yeah, some of the samplers have been awesome. And I just like, wow, that's so weird to say that that's what I like stitching. So I guess I'm kind of in the same boat as you. But, and then I have to stay off the Heaven and Earth design. Like, I have so many, I can never finish them in 3 lifetimes. So I should never be allowed to buy any more of those. Yep. But, I just kind of go with whatever I'm in the mood for.
Yeah, I do the same thing. That is so funny because I do the same thing with Heaven and Earth, and I don't even like full coverages. I think I have one elk piece that's not even Heaven and Earth that I'm doing, but I buy them.
They're so pretty. And then when people ask me for like custom pieces, so like now I'm working on one where I'm like hand painting with dye, like the background. Oh. And I had to go buy it because I'm like, I'm doing this too. So I'm putting all this work into it. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I had to go buy it.
Funny. So you're being enabled by your custom orders too. That's awesome.
That's usually the case. So
that's so cool and dangerous. It's very dangerous.
It's like, I want this now.
Oh, that's hilarious. So we're actually down to the last question already. We've just been gotten away. And this is one of my most favorite ones. And it's, what's the best thing that has happened to you within the past couple of years?
Oh my gosh. Bestitchme. I mean, honestly, I'm so grateful. Not many people get to say they get to live their dream. And I totally get to. So I'm going to say Bestitchme. It's been amazing. I got to leave the medical, like the health field. I was a nurse and do what I love. Which is amazing for me and my family because I think it just sets sets up for my kids, especially like my oldest she's an artist, and she's like, oh, is it stupid I want to follow an art dream? Absolutely not. Like, yep. She goes, I learned, and then like when I decided to leave, like the deal was once my husband finished school, he went to school for IT. Once he finished, then, you know, I could see what I could do with Bestitchme. And I mean, I think it just it has enabled my kids too. Like, I can follow my dream. I don't have to go to college for 4 years and do something I don't want to.
Yep. Yeah. I am thrilled. I really am, because like I said, we've talked through like this whole thing of, you know, you working and then wanting to work from home and make this a thing. And it just is amazing, and it's so well deserved. And you are a great role model for your kids, and it's awesome. I'm glad that they help. I'm glad that, you know, she wants to follow her art dream, and it's amazing. I'm so glad that your company has grown. Basically, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's been so much, and it's so much fun. Like, there's not a day that I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go work. It's like, yay, what am I gonna go do today? It's so much fun. And I'm not saying like it's it's all like beautiful all the time, but
right.
It is a lot of work, but it's so, I don't know, it's worth it. My husband says, well, you're a workaholic, so it works out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you. I'm glad we got to learn a little bit more about you. I'm making a formal request for you to do a floss tube. But until then, at least they'll get to see, you know, I think the whole point of this was I wanted people to meet you behind Bestitchme. And I think that, you know, we made that happen. So yeah. Thank you for taking time out of your day. I know you're busy dyeing and everything like that, and dealing with the kiddos.
Oh my gosh. I cannot wait till school actually goes back in session this fall. They have been home for 1.5 years. So
yes. I totally get that. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And we're going to say bye to everybody on Flosstuber.
Bye. Thank you.